can we bring everybody together into one spot? Can you come from the east, from the south, from the west, from the north, wherever you're coming from. And the idea for me to actually create a Cottonfest came about from linking up from all these people from different cities and different places that were just all coming with their t-shirts, or maybe they have an event and they were marketing their event with a t-shirt. For me, that's something I didn't understand. I didn't understand, like, how does a t-shirt link to people meeting up in one place? And I think the pop-up culture made it make sense to me. Because when I would sell a t-shirt, 500 kids used to come outside the door. But when I post a flyer, I wouldn't have the 500 kids that are coming to the event to buy a ticket to come inside. And I was like, damn, actually it's all connected. It's all about building the community. A community of people that want to celebrate everything about the culture. Not just the music, but they want to celebrate everything. So when I came back to South Africa, the first thing I thought after coming back from Paris was, I have to do an event that brings people together, and maybe everyone could be wearing the same t-shirt. We're not there yet, but the goal was like, I want to do an event where everyone is going to be wearing the same t-shirt at the event. And really that's what birthed Cottonfest. And mind you, none of this was my idea. None of this was my idea, you know, sitting in my mom's room, making beats with my drum machine and recording on a 200 Rand mic. I didn't think that you could travel overseas, go get ideas from people and bring them back home, and for you to put it out into the world and it could happen. I thought you had to be someone bigger than that, you know. I thought you have to be like a politician or an actor. I couldn't imagine that that's what the music was gonna do for me. And I always remember, even though now we have so many different relationships and different things that we do, I always remember that I just wanted the shoe. And I always try to take that back into everything that I move with. When I create music or when I create an event or when I create clothes, I always try to take it back to that point when I'm feeling demotivated, or when I'm feeling jaded, or when I feel like the culture is moving too fast for me, or I feel like I'm losing it. I always take it back to the fact that I just wanted a sneaker. Everything else comes with it, but I just wanted a sneaker. It sort of keeps me grounded, and everything happens by itself after that. And I think that's important for music and musicians, and especially hip-hop artists in this day and age, is to remember what we did it for, what made us happy, you know. When you went to a Ken Zero gig, or when you listened to that first mixtape and you opened up that mixtape and you put it in your CD player, what was that feeling? Because you weren't listening to it for money, you weren't listening to it because it was popping on social media, you weren't listening to it because it's gonna trend on Twitter or on TikTok. You were listening to it because it made you feel great. And for me, it makes me feel great that so many opportunities have come just out of having respect for this culture that we live in, having respect for the MCs that live within this culture, having respect for people who take time to travel and drive away from their cities to come to another city to be able to connect with people that like what they like. And you know, I'm 35 now. I always make it old, like I'm old or something. I'm 35. I only came out when I was 27. And by the time you're 27, people tell you stop focusing on that dream. People tell you that maybe it's time to go work on something else. And what this journey has taught me is that there's always time to work on something next, not something else. You can always keep pushing. You can always keep opening up your world, and it's never ever too late, never ever too late. But most importantly, it's a real blessing to see. You know, I don't look at, and I don't say myself, but I look at the group of guys that I came with. I don't look at us as trailblazers or any sort. I don't look at us as like icons or anything like that. And I'm not saying that people say that, but I don't look at us as anything special other than what was happening at the time, you know? And it makes it difficult for me to look back and say, we did something special. Makes it difficult for me to look back and say, we introduced something into the game. But sometimes when someone comes up to me and they're 13 years old or 12 years old or 14 years old and they say, damn, I remember when you wore this outfit, and they show you a picture on the phone, that puts things into perspective for me, that maybe what we did add something to the game. What we did bring that light that everybody else all around the world was getting. Maybe what we did say that you're able to push it forward and risk being laughed at or risk being told that that's not hip hop. It makes me realize that, yeah, those sacrifices are worth it, you know. Rock that outfit, look different, represent your culture. Because that's my big thing now. Now I want to represent South African clothes. Now I want to represent South African designers and African designers. That's like the next place I want to go. Now that's even harder, because when I come with a Maxhosa headwear and when I'm rocking a full Maxhosa, even people in the crowd looking at me like, yo, what is this now, you know? That's like another challenge you gotta go through. Now, how do you look African on stage? How do you look African with the music that you're coming with? That's like the next level that we're still gonna conquer. But because of everything that we've been through, I believe we can get through that also. Because none of it was promised, it just happened. It just happened, and we had to keep doing it for it to happen. So, a lot of people might not remember this, or a lot of people might have not paid attention. Let me break it down for you. It was the FUBU joints, then to the player sport joints. After the player sport joints, you're finding Dales coming through with the babe and with the colors. Now, when he's introducing the colors, I'm looking up, I'm seeing Kuli China coming with a tracksuit top and a cap with a Struce barb on it. Every time I see Kuli, he can wear his scrum buns, he can wear his shirts with the buttons down. I'm always gonna see Kuli as the guy who said, I'm gonna come with the tracksuit top and I'm gonna rock the cap on you. And then they said, I'm coming with the head honcho. When you say his head honcho, I'm remembering AKA coming through. That's what I'm always gonna see AKA. So when I see AKA, he can have his long hair, he can do everything he wants. I see him as the guy who came with the Stay Fresh, Get Money t-shirt. And then after that, you start seeing like, hey, what's going on? And then we're saying, you know what? Now we're gonna be coming through with the Nikes, we're gonna come through with the tighter t-shirts with the glasses. Now we're gonna be coming through with the Cavelas. Now we're gonna mix it up. That's how we were coming. And then I said, you know what? I see what you guys are doing. Let's take it to Italiano the whole way. Then we said, let's come with the Gucci. You get me what I'm saying? And then Cash Time and Cash Time Fam, they said, no, guys, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna come with the socks now. We're gonna pull them up here. Let's see how many people do that. You get me? And then you say Questa. Questa starts rocking vests. As skinny as that is, he starts rocking vests. What happens in the hood? All the kids start rocking vests. This journey, it's so beautiful, because for me, that's how I timestamp hip hop. That's how I look at it. Like, at that time when you came out, I remember what you came out with. You get me? And it's still happening today. Now you see Blackie coming through with the no combed hair. Now he's coming with the grill, and he's coming with the shirt off like this. That's what's gonna, you know, that's like defines the era that we're living in. Now the kids are saying, no, we don't even need to comb the hair. I don't even need to have it the way that you guys have it clean. Now I just keep it the way I like it, and I move like this. That's the new generation. They're saying, hey man, anything goes now. And we're gonna make it look good, we're gonna make it look pretty, and we're gonna spread it throughout the whole country. So with all of those things floating around, the Double HP t-shirt, the Casper Novest t-shirt, you get me? Can we bring everybody together into one spot? Can you come from the east, from the south, from the west, from the north, wherever you're coming from Pitoli? Let's come together. Let's meet up in one location, and we're gonna call it Cottonfest. Represent what you represent. Be who you wanna be, but know that we appreciate that you're doing. Whether we're gonna put it, whether we're gonna rock it or not, we appreciate it because you make us look better. Hope I'm not leaving any names out, but it's just beautiful to see that, man. Everyone that comes out presents something new. Everybody that came out gave us something to look at and say, damn, man, that guy's really cool. I'd like to do that, you know. And then by the time you put it together into one location, now we're telling them Mzansi hip hop fashion story.
Broadcast live